The company in focus, the stock in focus is part of the Indiabulls Group, at least for some time. We are talking about Indiabulls Real Estate, the real estate arm of the Indiabulls Group. So quite some time ago, the company had intimated to the exchanges that the company was exploring a merger possibility with the Embassy Group. Now remember, the Embassy Group is headed by Jitu Virwani, and now what has actually happened as far as this particular development is concerned is that number one, when you're talking about the Embassy Group was looking for a way to list its commercial as well as residential real estate assets into the stock market. So now, due to this particular reverse merger that they are exploring, and once all the regulatory approvals come through, once the merger ratio is set, what will actually happen is that investors who are holding Indiabulls Real Estate shares will also have exposure and will also own assets that belong to the Embassy Group. So now, let us have a look at the scheme of arrangement. So Indiabulls Real Estate, with these assets, both residential as well as commercial real estate, will merge its assets into some or select assets of the Embassy Group. Now, Embassy Group has, identified some select assets, and it has updated this particular development to the exchanges, the assets that it has identified to be merged into the joint entity. Well, some questions do arise. Number one, given the fact that Embassy has quite a large portfolio, Embassy also has an exposure to the stock market via the Embassy REIT. However, also an important thing to look out for is the fact that Blackstone has been an important investor as far as the entire Embassy story in India is concerned. So now, once the entire merger is finalized, so from 4 weeks from today, what the company has said is that, they will come up with the share swap ratio for shares of Indiabulls Real Estate as well as the Embassy Group. So now the new shareholding pattern, number one, would have the existing Indiabulls Real Estate that would be adjusted for the shareholding pattern and the share swap ratio of the Embassy Group. Number two, it will have the Embassy Group. Remember, they had purchased close to 14% stake from the Indiabulls promoter, and also, financial investors of the Embassy Group. The other thing to note is that Samir Gehlot, who was a significant shareholder and the promoter, would now start the process for not becoming a promoter, or they call it the depromoterization, and the Embassy Group head, Jitu Virwani, will now start the process to become the promoter of this joint entity. So basically, this particular transaction would mean that the Embassy Group is going to get listed as far as the stock markets are concerned. Indiabulls Group would leave or will no longer be promoters of any real estate assets or listed real estate assets in the Indian stock market exchange. And the other thing to watch out for is going forward, how they are able to ramp up and scale up the commercial as well as residential portfolio of the entire combined joint entity of Embassy as well as Indiabulls Real Estate. Jitu Virwani spoke to ET Now. He alluded that the name would soon be changed as well, and he spoke about, they have quite a few ambitions. He was not able to disclose too many details due to the impending transaction, but he did speak to ET Now, and the interview too is something where he has clearly mentioned that they are looking forward to getting their assets listed as far as the markets are concerned.